It's invalid.
Hello.
Fuck you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of City of Fog. Wah! Episode 4. It's so weird,
That was exciting.
So
right?
exciting.
It's so.
Hype. Uh,
It's almost like you can't tell I was at work all day and I'm tired. And everyone
No,
here is
talking about
basically
being
tired.
tired.
Because we're adults, and that's what life is like when you become an adult. Spoiler alert, you're tired all the time. No one told me this. No one told us this when we were kids. No one said you're going to be tired all the time.
Nobody told me I was going to be up till 5 playing D&D and then have to do an 8-hour shift at work.
Right.
Nobody told me.
Exactly. But here we are. Through our tiredness, we're going to
Located
play some Urban Shadows, and we're going to have some fun in San Francisco. Joining us, we have 3 returning guests, 1 new guest, but 2 returning characters and 2 new characters. How does that happen? Watch episode 1 to find out. But anyways, let's meet our friends that are playing with us tonight. First in the top left, we have Mumbles. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I am not tired. I'm pretty chipper. I slept until like 1:30 today in the afternoon. Then I started streamed for like 5 hours, and that's been it today. So I'm pretty good.
Awesome.
I raged really hard at Hyperlight Drifter today.
Yeah, we were talking about that beforehand. It sounds fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a very fun game. I'm playing that, and I'm gonna play that, and then Enter the Gungeon right after. Both seem very fun to me, and
Cool.
yeah, I'm super stoked and ready to hop into the City of Fog.
Awesome. Joining our returning guest but new character is Nick down in the bottom left. How are you today, Nick?
I am would become destroyer of worlds, but I'm too tired today. I cannot become Shiva. Hello, I'm good. I stayed up till 4 compiling a map of Cuba for a campaign that I'm doing.
Of course.
That was fun. Google Map copy paste 18 times. Oh god.
Wow. Well, so you zoomed in to get like a more detailed
Yes,
picture?
I
and then-
did, and then I zoomed in on every single major city that were in the quadrants that I took out.
I've done that before.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
actually
it's-
the worst.
It's so long. I had to get Havana and like 7 other major cities because you
Oh, yeah.
forget the cube is like 300 fucking miles long.
Is that big?
Until you actually look at. Yes, it's huge when you actually look at it.
Wow. I thought
pretty
it seems small. I don't know why.
It does, and then you
I've
realize,
had that
oh,
comment as well before.
Haha.
Sorry. I'll bye.
What campaign is this you're getting Map of Cuba for?
a Fallout campaign that
Oh, yeah,
I'm
the Fallout
working.
one.
Steel Tombs.
Cool.
Yes. I guess I'll not do it now, but I have an interest sheet that I will post for this later
Cool, yeah,
in the chat.
Totally.
If you're interested, you can go fill out the form for that. It's a Brotherhood of Steel campaign taking place in Cuba,
Awesome.
so that'll be interesting when I get around to it and I stop compiling maps of Cuba. Tired.
Joining us again today is in the top right is the Crumpeter. How are you
Hey
today,
guys.
buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm just knackered because we had fun last night and I killed 3 people. And
Putting
then
in an innocent dwarf girl.
yeah, but she had what was coming to her. She was gonna get banged one way or another. She just got banged with a thunder wave instead of a penis. Anyway,
You threw her against a stone pillar with your thunder wave, and her head cracked and just split in 2. And yeah,
not
Sounds great.
guilty.
it was.
The
Well,
heart
we were
of the
all
cards.
distracted.
You guys were there. It was great. Anyway, so yeah, and then I went to work, and then I got here, and I thought, you know what, we're gonna have a sleep. And then my girlfriend was like, "Play League with me." I was like, "Okay." So I played a couple of games of League. So I never actually got as much sleep as I wanted. So I yeah, bit of a rushed setup probably for Tux because I was just like, "Whoa, I'm here!" 5 minutes before the show. So yeah, I'm absolutely great though. I'm chipper, as you guys say. I'm Gucci, as I say. Gucci.
Gosh.
Is that a British
That's
thing,
pretty
like-
lit,
like
fam.
biscuit?
That's pretty lit.
Like biscuit and crisp. Is it Gucci? Is that-
Exactly. We're definitely we're
Getting
creepy
down-
Gucci.
getting
I don't
down
know
with
if
the
I
lingo
would've-
across the pond.
We're Gucci crisp biscuit. That's what we are.
Lit.
Oh gosh.
Fine,
Charizarding
Gucci
all the way.
biscuits. Sounds like a really weird product that I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't be very good. Gucci crisp biscuits.
Oh my
It goes
gosh.
back to the
I don't
hooker
know.
Ordered by
and
Gucci
the,
Mane in stores now.
Only $9.99.
Only $9.99. What is that? Euros
fun.
or dollars?
Yes.
Well, it'll be dollars because you guys are cheapskates.
Okay. Maybe worth it.
Oh,
I shouldn't have said that. I'm 4-1 here.
It's okay. Our currency sucks. It's not doing the best.
Last but not least, our new player and new character is in the bottom right, Caddick Corn Dogs. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Awesome.
I'm having a pretty great day. Everything is going pretty well,
Cool.
which is kind of weird, but that's fine. I don't want to think right now. I don't want to play some games. So let's.
there ain't no shade in this hood, dog.
Yeah, well,
All right, I've turned into human garbage. Stop me before I go any further.
Okay,
Mhm.
let's get to it then. Yeah, so if you haven't joined us yet for an episode of City of Fog, this is an open game for the game Urban Shadows, which is a urban fantasy game. Basically, it's kind of like The Wire. It's kind of like House of Cards, other shows like where there's like big political and like big faction stuff going on, and all these players that we kind of we focus on a bunch of different people. Like there's a lot of stories intertwining, and then we throw in like vampires and werewolves and wizard councils and fae vampires and stuff like that. We've had a lot of really interesting characters so far, including and our two returnings and our two news. And so first off, I remember it the first time, forgot it the last two times. I'm gonna remember it this time. A couple things I want to go over before we start is this game can get into some interesting topics. Interesting meaning like adult themed, so like death and gore and sex and like dark stuff. Like it's like it's this game is R-rated basically. So something that I've taken from other games and other kinds of things like this is something called the X card, or some also known as the Veil. Kind of they're in the same vein. Basically, if something happens that you aren't okay with or that you don't want to see, let me know privately or vocally or let me know any way you want to, and we'll skip past it. We won't show it, and you don't have to explain yourself. It's perfectly fine. So like if there's like, hey, I don't want to see sex slaves, or it could even be something like, hey, I don't want to see octopuses or octopi, whatever. Like totally fine.
Octopodes.
We'll skip past it and we'll move on to something else. So yeah, please feel free to do that if something does make you uncomfortable. I definitely don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Everybody should feel safe here.
yeah, I'm good with octopi, but not octopuses.
It's octopodes.
Octopodes.
No, that's literally the plural. It's octopody.
Wait, what?
I don't believe it.
Yeah, because all right, I don't want to get into linguistics for a second here. It'll take way too long. It's not octopi because it's not Latin, it's Greek. So podes is the plural of foot. So
Can we just
octopodes.
pretend it's Latin, please?
But it's not. It's either
to make it, like-
octopodes or octopuses, which is the more
Anyway.
linguistically correct. Anyway,
Octopodes, octopi, whatever. If you if something makes you uncomfortable, we can feel free to skip past it and move on to something else. Please feel free to just like play your character, do stuff that like the first thing that comes to mind. Just do what you want to play, what you want to play. Don't feel like you have to be like, oh, I have to be the funniest guy or I have to be the coolest character or whatever. Like, you're gonna be awesome and cool just by making a character and playing it like the best you can, and that's gonna be super cool, and we'll all love it.
plans to be the
And
most boring character in existence.
it'll still be awesome because if he's the most boring character in existence, that's interesting. Ha ha.
It's
So there is that, and most importantly, we can't play this without characters. So I think we'll have just a short like couple sentences explanation of our returning characters, just to kind of give many people that might be joining us for the first time. So Bailey Rook, could you just kind of describe her for like just in a couple sentences?
Yeah, so she is a veteran of the San Francisco Police Department. She's a detective who has been kind of regulated to some shitty division. And she is also a wizard. That's, I mean, she's about 40 something, and she's pretty badass. But she's crawling out of her shithole.
Yeah.
She's doing better. She's created some people that apparently like her at some points, so it's going well.
Yeah. And then we have Father Landon also joining us. Could you describe Father Landon?
Yeah, cool. So Father Landon is basically like a fallen priest, if you were going to sum it up in a couple of words. He did used to preach and things like that at churches, but a couple of years ago, he took a turn to the dark side when his patron, Hetenka, I can't pronounce Hetenka, that's the one. Oh my Mike. And basically he forced Father Landon into giving up his soul until he's cleared all the debts and stuff like that. So basically I'm a tainted, so I get to have a cool demonic form as well as a human form.
Yeah.
And hopefully last session, if you're around for that, we saw the cool demonic form just randomly scare some guys. And then this cute little doggy pulled me out of it. It was like, please. I was like, okay. So, but no, if you stick around, I might go demon form again today, depending on the circumstances. So you guys might be able to see something cool happen.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, definitely stick around.
Sweet.
I need to go and visit my my oracle as well. Oh wait.
Oh
They're
wait.
dead.
Spoilers for episode 1.
Cool.
That's going to be
And
interesting.
so now we can move on to our 2 new characters. So, Jensen. Wait, how did I spell that wrong? I spelled Jensen wrong.
I have it right on Roll20 if you need.
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
if you need to double check.
I added. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go. Let's cover Jensen Brody first.
Okay. So I'm playing a veteran called Jensen Brody. And just to start out with basic things, for the look, he's male, he's indigenous, which I assume, based on that, is supposed to be Native American, or however you want to phrase that. And kind of dirty clothing, and the way I'm interpreting that is kind of just like, basically what I wear, very basic, like t-shirts and sweatpants and nothing but that, and maybe slippers and maybe a hoodie or a beanie if we're feeling super formal on one of our treks through downtown SF. He's got a very professional demeanor. He's not. The other options are like charming or cold or distant, and I figured. Guy's been in the game probably 20-30 years, and I'll get into what that is, but he's probably not necessarily like the most charming guy in the world. He's just like, I'm very much about my business, I'm very into my work, that's my life, that's what I do.
Okay,
That is how I go about things. So the veteran starts as a member of Mortality, and for their faction points, I start out with 1 immortality and 0 in everything else. I'm basically neutral with every other faction. For my stats, I start out with a -1 in blood, 1 in heart, 1 in mind, and 0 in spirit. So very good with the kind of relatability and dealing with things professionally.
Cool.
For my moves, I start out with Old Friends, Old Favors, which basically lets me like name a character and say that they're kind of like an old friend of mine, and if I roll well, I get a benefit to it. If I roll poorly, I'm kind of going to have to give them a dead, and I'm going to suffer a little bit for it. And then the moves I picked for the class beyond that are Gun to a Knife Fight. So when I unleash on someone by seriously escalating the conflict, I pull out a gun during a knife fight.
Yeah.
I roll with Mind instead of Blood, so I can basically void that kind of stat retraction. And the other one I picked was Best Laid Plans. So when I work out a plan with someone, I roll with Mind, and on a 10+ I hold 3, on a 7 to 9 I hold 2, and I can spend the hold to basically just give myself or someone around me an advantage in another situation or something that's about to happen.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So that covers the basic things, and then
Sure.
Gear, I have a warehouse hideout, which I don't think this voids what the description is too much, but I imagine it's kind of like, you know, those big kind of dry dock wharf warehouses that you would pull like a yacht into to house it outside of the dock itself, so it's in like an enclosed space. I basically have one of those, but the dry dock's been like drained out and it's set back a little bit from the harbor. So it was probably used for that at some point, and now it's kind of just like I've taken it over, and that's what I'm using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see on the map, kind of down center right ish.
Yes.
It's been marked, so I'm showing that on screen too. Kind of down here by on the map, it's by Hunter's Point.
That might actually. I looked over Hunter's Point. I'm not native to San Francisco, so if that's actually for like military dry docking and ship storage, I'm sorry, but it appeared to be a normal wharf, so I use that for like my location.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong, native San Franciscans can correct me. And then for a vehicle, I just have a basic beat-up pickup, and I have a smartphone for a phone. And the only other item I have is a 9mm Beretta, which is a 2-harm close loud weapon.
Cool. All right. Sure. Awesome. So we got a good short description. Let's also get that kind of same short to kind of go over all the character sheet stuff for James, and then we'll come back and do the questions and debts for Jensen.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm James. I'm like a persuader, really, is kind of what it's like my sort of specialty. I'm a businessman and wasn't really getting anywhere. Was kind of like metaphorically soulless because I was kind of in a dead-end job, working in a cubicle. And then I became literally soulless when I, took my soul out and, auctioned it off to dark forces. And they kind of gave me the skills I needed through dark methods to raise in the ranks of business, but I owe them favors now, which kind of complicates things. So I just kind of want to, stop having to owe people favors because I don't like to be connected to all these people. For appearance, I usually wear full suit and tie.
Okay, cool.
I'm Caucasian. I have very gelled hair. I am tainted. Is my playbook, so I can also turn into a demon.
Awesome.
I have the class moves
Demon
double
buddy.
inside, which makes me just be a stronger demon form demon. And I have tough as nails, which means that I can't be. I get +1 armor, and I can't be stunned or impaired from weapons that would do that. So a taser would just not affect me.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like me. I think that's the exact thing I chose as well.
Oh, is it?
We're gonna be
It's a good one.
tanky.
It's good.
Yeah, they're good ones. How about the stats and factions?
Stats: 1 blood, 2 heart, -1 mind, and 0 spirit.
Okay, cool.
Faction: I don't remember where to find that.
The numbers for it are in the same place. It's right under the starting character stats, and then
Starting character stats.
Yep, and then on the sheet, it's kind of in the very middle.
Very middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. +1 with the mortality,
Okay.
-1 with the night, 0 with power, and 2 with wild.
Cool. And then kind
Yeah.
of to explain the factions, also just for viewers and anybody that doesn't quite get them. Basically, mortality is pretty self-explanatory. It's normal people that aren't connected to this supernatural underworld of society. Night is kind of more street level. It's the playbooks that start in it are vampires, wolves, and the specters or ghosts. So like street level gangs, more like individual people that aren't too powerful that are like but have ambitions. Power is like a step above that. So people that are already at the, like kind of at the top, or just like very powerful, like on supernatural wise. So like wizards. There's power was wizards and
Oracles. Wizards and oracles.
then
It's literally just those two.
Yeah, wizards and oracles are in power. So like the very strong magic, and then also just people that are like at the top basically that have already made it, and they're like the factions controlling things and such. And then wild is everyone else, and it's anything like it's alien stuff. It's stuff outside of these other factions. The playbooks in it are like fae, tainted, so like demons that come up from hell, or like a weird creature that comes from the sky, or like anything that's not part of these other kind of things would belong in wild.
Mysterious dark forces.
Right, exactly. Cool. How about what gear did you choose?
Gear. I have the 9mm Beretta, which is a 2-harm close loud weapon.
Cool.
I have a penthouse, or an unfurnished penthouse. I think we've decided.
It doesn't have to be
That
unfurnished.
was an aside. It doesn't have to be.
Okay, so just a normal penthouse.
Yeah.
On Russian Hill, which is on the map somewhere.
Mhm.
I
I think it's up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a car. Just a car. And I have a smartphone of sorts.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so let's go to Jensen and let's answer some of these questions to kind of flesh out the character, make some connections for them and such. So for veteran, the first one's the same for everyone. Kind of, we've answered it a little bit, and then kind of here's a chance to explain anything else that you couldn't think of, or just like kind of give another little bit of description. Who are you?
So I am Jensen Brody. I am a it's kind of a more obscure job, but if anyone has seen the movie Nightcrawler, I am a stringer. I am the guy that kind of goes around and gets the guerrilla photo shots of anything that's going down in the city. And specifically, I built my career off of getting like shots of either extreme gang violence that's going down in the city, like the shit that no one wants to see, but they kind of have a bit of morbid curiosity in it because it's something no one else is going to be able to see. It pops up in like Latin tabloid magazines and stuff like that, or just general tabloids.
Yeah.
And that's half my career, and the other half has been photographing actual paranormal events and sending it into other tabloid news articles, which are the only places that would actually publish photos of like a werewolf in the middle of San Francisco.
Right, yeah. So like Bat Boy and all that stuff.
Exactly. It's something where people already think it's bullshit, but I can still make a living off of it because they're genuine photos and they're really well shot.
Cool.
Oh, so they're like blurry images.
Yeah, kind of. It would be like, if you picked up the National Enquirer and it said like Wolfman seen in downtown San Francisco, it's not just some guy in a suit. It's like actually a werewolf in San Francisco that I shot a photo of.
But like, yeah, then it
But
looks
no one's gonna buy that it's a werewolf, so it ends up in tabloid.
right, exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Like Photoshop. Come on.
Exactly.
It's like, look at that line right there. That's obviously Photoshop.
That's
Right, yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
That Bigfoot is obviously 30 miles away. So that's kind of like what I've been doing.
Mhm.
And I've kind of like waned in my career a little bit over the years. I think like with the rise of like internet journalism and the explosion of popularity of that, I've kind of just been outmoded, and like the newspaper and the tabloids that I was sending all my stuff into just don't want to buy it anymore. They've moved on to like either an online platform, or they've been just like bought out by some like kalestock.com, some bullshit hipster news site. So I've kind of like I've waned in recent decades. I've still got enough money to support myself when I'm
Right, yeah,
not
and you
doing
can and like probably still sell some things, like, but yeah, it's definitely like
I can still sell stuff simply on the merit that like I take good fucking photographs.
Right,
People
exactly.
will still pay
start
money
taking
for
pictures
that,
of like gang violence stuff, and start taking pictures of like a nice pond out in Montana.
Yeah, I have to go and take like artistic photos now, and it's not my passion, but I have to do this shit to put like food in my warehouse.
Wedding
Or like stock
photography.
photos for like shitty websites.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'm the guy who has to go around filming or taking pictures of like kids sitting on the lawn in front of a college campus and send it in to like whatever their PR manager is to put it up on the website.
All right, so there's this woman. She's a scientist and she's mixing chemicals, so you know she's smart.
Yeah. She's in a lab coat and she's
Yeah.
blonde and she has a smile on her face. She's
Now
not wearing
there's-
goggles, but don't worry.
Now there's, and here's a Mexican guy at a job site, but he's in a suit, so you know he's actually successful.
He's in a managerial position.
Right,
It shows
exactly.
that the company is actually friendly toward immigrants.
Awesome.
Build a wall.
So that's kind of my day job right now. I still kind of do a little bit of the tabloid stuff on the
Sure.
side because that's like really what I love, but like it's not making the money that it used to.
How long have you been in the city?
20 years.
Okay.
I have been here long enough to see the rise and fall of grunge and a bunch of other shit that no one cares about anymore.
So you like kind
Things
of
that have been
grew up
uploaded.
somewhere else and then moved here. Cool.
Yeah, I've lived in Portland for a while. I think that's kind of like where I got my start with my kind of like starting with my tribe, and I found that I figured out like I had a bit of a passion for photography. I like taking like landscape stuff, and then I found like as I moved into the city and I got accustomed to urban life, I kind of just dug taking pictures of people. I dug like getting shots of like urban environments, and that's kind of where I found my passion. And then eventually I moved to San Fran and made a living out of like filming the paranatural after I found out.
Cool. What was your greatest accomplishment in the city?
In San Francisco, I managed to get a shot of a all-out gang war. Probably in like the mid '90s, on the San Francisco streets, between an earlier version of the Wolfpack that is currently roaming, that's like in a bunch of different gangs, but is itself its own group, and Mara Salvatrucha, the massive arm of the Mexican drug cartel that operates out of San Francisco.
Okay. So
And
you're
that
like
was,
you were like the exclusive on that. Like
Yeah, that was published like that was like the front image of this tabloid that I was going to, and it was like it was reprinted like 40,000 times, and it went all over the city, and it was the only thing that I actually got any like real recognition for, and my
Yeah.
name was attached to it.
gang war. In
No one bought
90s.
it. No one bought into the logic of it, but it looked good.
Yeah, cool.
It was impressive for 90s Photoshop.
Why did you stop?
It's just not profitable anymore. I cannot expect to honestly make money off of sending in photos of a wizard casting a portal, because either people aren't interested in it, or anyone who would be just believes it's automatically fake. It's too easy to manipulate photos on the internet now. No one's gonna buy into the fact that like some wizard put a portal in the middle of the street.
Right, yeah.
Fucking some tech at Microsoft could do that with 15 minutes.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
So
wizards at
yeah.
Microsoft. I would have never
Maybe.
guessed.
There are. They're really
I take my
shitty
job
wizards,
very
though.
seriously.
I mean,
Good.
they're
paid
economically minded
extortion.
wizards, not technologically minded or
Windows is
magically
just a
minded
spell
wizards.
that went wrong a long time ago, and they're just kind of trying to fix. It's just been writing ever since.
Yeah, pretty much.
Such a shitty spell.
Yeah,
Awesome.
all the archmages just eternally channeling the spell to keep Windows running. It's just
They're all in caskets. They're just being bled of their essence to maintain the spell for future generations.
kinda
One day
amazing.
they'll work out the kinks.
Oh yeah, of course.
What do you desperately need?
Pretty much just to get back into the spotlight, because like I mean the whole reason I took up doing this to begin with wasn't, I mean like yes I have a passion for it, but the reason I took up photojournalism wasn't, you know, just so that I could amble my way through life and make just enough to live off of. Like I wanted to be like the guy that was credited for revealing the supernatural to the world. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't ashamed of taking pictures of it and like showing it to real people, but like I knew that the only way I could actually get it out to people was by going to like tabloids. But eventually I'd love to just post it somewhere where everyone sees it, everyone acknowledges the existence of the paranormal, and I'm the guy that's credited for revealing it to the world.
Cool. Yeah. Once.
Get yourself a
two.
subreddit.
To everyone else, you are just a crazy kook.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a fucking insane guy who takes terrible pictures of Bigfoot and claims that it's real.
Right.
I am
Yeah.
that guy who's showing up on Fox News right now. But I have a valid point.
You're like
Trump
the
is a
aliens
reptiloid.
guy, but for vampires and werewolves and wizards.
Yes, exactly. and when one of my articles goes viral, I will sit there on my Discovery Channel show and I'll tell you
Yeah,
I told
exactly.
you so.
You're like the porn expert or the like soda expert that that History Channel will bring in.
Yeah, and then I'll be brought in for 50 more specials because literally no one else knows what they're talking about. Like the other Bigfoot experts are actually bullshitting about it, but I do know what I'm talking
Exactly.
about.
Like no, I've actually seen it. Like I
have
have too.
actually seen.
He's 10
I do
foot
have
tall,
Bigfoot.
and he's got 6 arms. Like no, actually he's not.
Well,
'Cause I've actually met him.
That would be a Himalayan Sasquatch, and what I have seen is the Sasquatch native to the Red Forest region of California. So that'll be me on my Discovery Channel special.
Awesome. Now let's talk about your debts. So someone relies on you for training or knowledge. They owe you 2 debts.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I hadn't really thought about debts before I got to this point because I wanted to kind of just like, this is something I wanted to do on the fly because I wanted people to be here before I asked. Oh, let me make sure I'm on the right page. Yeah. Someone relies on me for training or knowledge. Yes, actually. Okay, so Jensen Brody, in addition to like doing his day job and doing like all this stringer nighttime work, is actually linked to a small order of hunters that move around on this little flotilla of boats, and they dock in a some kind of port city for a while, and they try to just kind of quell any sort of supernatural rumblings that they hear going on. Like if they think there's some kind of like supernatural uprising, they'll fucking put it down before it gets too far.
Could it be
if there's...
the hunters that the mayor's brought to the city recently?
Yes, it is specifically them.
Cool.
And I have a kind of like, not someone who's studying under me simply for the fact that like I know how to kill the supernatural. I do, but that's not the point. They're studying me because I know the patterns of supernatural beings. So I have this like kind of understudy who's in the order who follows me around. And I think her name is I'll go with Marnie Cruz.
Marnie Cruz. Is it like Tom Cruise?
No, like Ted Cruz, unfortunately.
Is it short for Armani or?
No, Marnie is in like the female name.
So
Marnie.
she owes you 2 debts, Jensen. For basically for like kind of just like hey, how do vampires work in San Francisco? Well, I'll tell you how vampires work in San Francisco.
And I specifically have a lot of knowledge relegated to the groups that operate here, if nowhere else.
Yeah. Is it like strictly professional? It's just like, hey, I need info. Okay, here's your info. Okay, see ya. Or like,
I've never had really anyone close to me, so I think I kind of look at her as like a daughter figure in a way, but not really. Cool. I still like I try to keep the attachment very professional, so I never talk to her about anything really personal. All of our conversations are like really, really curt and just about like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And like maybe we go get food occasionally, but that's as far as it goes.
Sure, cool.
So I've got like a soft spot, but not anything that would interfere with my work, and she doesn't have anything that would interfere with hers.
Cool. Hunter.
What does she?
I don't know. Maybe.
Right, so like father-ish, daughter-ish relationship. Or at least like father figure, daughter figure kind of.
Yeah. And Jensen's in his like mid 40s, like 43, 44, 45.
Yeah.
So he old.
All right, so calling it now, Jensen.
Hey,
Jensen Bailey
that's
OTP.
not old. Oh my god, no. We've already discussed this. I have a ex-lover who is a female.
Yeah, Bailey's way too occupied with her shit life to deal with me and
I have too much.
It's
stuff
too much
going
stress.
On right now.
Too much strain. We have enough problems between us. We don't need each other.
Bailey likes younger women.
Right.
Yeah.
You're working on You're working on something big for someone, and it's nearly ready. They owe you a debt.
I was gonna say a faction on the whole, but that doesn't really work. So I think, who would I really want to make something for? Okay. So I had the idea before. One of the parts of my workshop is a like I get for the audience, I get 3 things that I get to like attach to my workshop that are like
Oh, yeah. What
utility
did you
functions. And those are the ones I picked were an advanced surveillance system, which is basically just like I'm hooked into a bunch of traffic cameras and like I've got some of my own listening equipment spaced throughout the city at like major junctures.
Yeah.
Just so like when something goes down, I know where it is and I can get to it really quickly. Because I need to be able to get there in like a 10 to 15 minute time frame. Otherwise, the police are going to tape off the scene and I'm fucked. I'm not going to get my shot. And then I have a dark room for developing photos, obviously. And then I have a portal to another dimension.
Of course.
Just casually.
Now, yes.
Right, of course.
Which dimension is the real
Well,
question.
see, that's the thing. If you're okay with it, Adam, my idea for this is that this dimension is kind of just like a little slip space pocket dimension. And what it's actually used for is that it has a bunch of kind of like random portals that are keyed into like specific ley line-ish areas all around San Francisco. So I can go into the portal, end up in this dimension, pick another portal, pop out somewhere else in San Fran.
Okay.
So it's like the hub of our video game.
Yes, but only I basically have access
Yeah,
to it. 'cause
yeah,
no one else does
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
Like
it's
a
like,
personal house in RuneScape
yeah, kind of.
with the
Yeah.
portal.
So it's like for quick access to anywhere else in the city, I can just like get it on surveillance, figure out where it is, be there before anyone else. So I have that kind of secreted away in a spot of the warehouse where no one's going to see it.
Okay, cool.
So I think what I'm
Wonder up-
trying to do is get this probably prepped into a more manageable, smaller device that the rest of this hunter society can use. And I think
Okay.
I'm probably working with some techs over there, and like one in specific. So like the lead engineer, I think his name would probably be like Marcus Atway.
Cool.
And I think he's probably the lead tech that's kind of working on this with me. And this is tech that the hunters don't have, but they need it in order to kind of manage getting around San Fran because they're basically only on one side. They're on the harbor side. So if they want to get anywhere else in the city, they have to get off the boat, get to cars, drive anywhere else in the city. So they have a difficult time managing.
Cool. Awesome. And then your last one is someone keeps pulling your ass out of the fire. You owe them 2 debts.
Okay. So I imagine that the most flack I'm getting because of my job is that I'm probably gonna wind up either pissing off the mages because I have access to this portal tech, and my reasoning behind that is that I stole this shit. This is not legitimately owned. I should not have this, but I basically took it from one of the groups, and I think it was probably like left at a crime scene. I picked it up and I kind of tinkered with it. Put it like in the back of my pickup. It was probably destroyed, and I found out that I had this interdimensional portal thing. So I'm probably either pissing them off because I'm using their tech, or I'm pissing off one of the other supernatural groups. So, do we have a character that's like really into that? I'm thinking of like PC characters. Do we? I can't remember. I thought you might know better. Do we have a character that's like super deep into the like supernatural politics that we got going on?
Like,
A
depends
few.
on the time frame. Yeah.
What do you like?
Because I'm thinking it would be someone who is embroiled in one of the factions that can keep the heat off me when I'm going around doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey seems the most likely option, simply for keeping the mages off my back.
Yeah. If you want it to be something that you stole from them,
Yes.
then I'm fine with that.
Cool.
I'm fine with the
Okay, yeah,
that
sure.
I'm keeping them off your back, and I'm probably taking some flack from them, like, because that's my thing. They hate me anyway.
And
so.
I think I've probably sent you in crime scene photos, like in a previous life when we were probably kind of working in similar junctures.
Oh yeah. So you guys
Yeah, it
knew
makes
each other
sense
before.
to me that it makes
Oh,
sense
yeah,
to me
yeah,
that
'cause you're both-
you've
yeah,
been
yeah,
in the
you're
city
both-
for
yeah.
a while.
That's really cool.
Right. We've both been here for like the majority of our careers. So I think I probably helped you get an edge earlier on in your career by keeping you abreast of crimes.
Yeah, like
way
back when
before
Bailey
any
was
of the
first
rest of
starting,
the-
like because you were a
Right.
detective once, weren't you, Bailey?
Yeah, I'm still am, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
like-
just don't.
yeah,
I don't
like-
get to. I'm a detective now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So like before, like when you were
So
like,
I think I
like, yeah,
probably
you're like a
kept
beat cop, and
Bailey
then you moved
abreast.
up. Yeah, Jensen's actually like helped her out with like photos and info
Right.
and
I think
stuff.
because of my
Cool.
access, I kept her abreast of a lot of crimes like as they were happening, so she could get to the scene like
Yeah.
before any of the rest of the dispatch could.
That's awesome.
Sure.
Cool.
I'm fine with that.
Very cool.
You have some sweet portal tech that someone's gonna take from you.
Awesome. So that covers your 3 deaths. So now we can move on to James.
Hello.
All right. So let's go
I'm
down the
James.
list for your questions. So once again, the first one, kind of we've talked about it a little bit, but kind of your chance to explain anything else you'd like to. Who are you?
I'm James Algarian. I am a like kind of youngish, maybe like 29-year-old. Like was in a high position at some point. Maybe even like CEO of like a smaller-ish company. Like buying and selling like fossil fuels and stuff like that. Just really kind of boring stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, as I said, I got into that position by not being the most charismatic fellow and bidding my soul to get that sort of power.
Uh-huh.
I don't really have that many friends or family, or else they probably would have talked me out of doing something like that. So I'm kind of a like nobody in a very like somebody position.
Uh-huh. Cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the city?
Probably not too long. I like probably moved here maybe within like 1 or 2 years and just rised up the ranks.
Okay.
I was thinking I used to live in like New York.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Recently arrived. 1, 2 years. Who would you die for?
Who would I die for? Okay. Well, I already established that I don't have any friends or family. So let's see. Let's make someone up. Alfred Card. He is my like bartender. We're just like I just go after like a day's work and just like go to him, and if he wasn't there, I'd probably just like cease to exist. So I just want to keep him around, I guess.
Awesome. He's always been there like whenever you want to like complain to somebody or like you've gone to his bar you've gone to his bar enough that you just got close just by association. Cool.
Mhm.
Close. Cool. What is your daily release? Is it going to the bar or something else?
Yeah, going to the bar and maybe going to the back room and like trying to like spiritually calm down because I have some stuff going on there.
Cool.
So yeah, he just like helps me out. So I just drink and like try to meditate using like early YouTube or whatever. Just like, this is how you meditate. Do this. And I'm like shaking, just trying to like mimic. Yeah.
Awesome. What do you desperately need?
I desperately need a bargaining chip to like get all of this stuff in line, because right now, currently, everything is kind of out of control, or out of my control at least.
Cool.
Like
yeah.
I need to be the one in control again, because like I'm kind of not in control. I'm saying in control a lot of my life because I don't have my soul anymore. I made I screwed over the Knight faction, and yeah, I just need that one thing that I could use to like just make everything better.
Cool. Bargaining chip. Awesome. Now for your debts. You're protecting someone from a dark power. They owe you 2 debts.
Alfred Card.
Cool.
I'm protecting him from whatever dark forces that I somehow have more sway over. Like, he might have done something, and I was like, chill, bro. And just, like, calmed all of them down. them, him, her. I don't know what I'm dealing with.
Okay. So is it just like he's in danger just by being near you, kind of thing, or is it like he did something that drew attention?
I think it's like they were paying attention to me, but I hang out around him so much, so he did something while within their gaze, and yeah, now I have to like protect him from them because
Cool.
like
Okay.
their sort of morals are a lot different than ours, so they take offense from different things.
Sure. Yeah. Alfred. Someone is trying to save you and keeps suffering it. So, someone is trying to save you and keeps suffering for it. You owe them 2 debts.
I owe them 2 debts. Keep suffering. Say, is there a PC who wants this?
I can't. I don't think I can find a reason for it.
How newly
Yeah.
tainted are you?
Hmm?
How long's it been since you've been tainted?
I've been tainted for maybe like a little bit longer than I've been here, so maybe like 3-4 years.
Oh right, okay. So around the same time as me then.
But I don't know if you're trying to save him, right? Because you're all about like keeping the darkness powerful. So you're not
No,
like really
I
trying to.
was just sort of wondering whether it was a case of like there was some kind of mutual agreement, as in I went tainted first and learned sort of the ropes, and he learnt with me, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But you were like embracing or at the time we were both kind of like into it. Like, yeah, I'm going to get rich. And you were like, yeah, I'm going to get powerful. And now I'm just like screwing up everything.
I mean, it could be, you could take the word protect, because it's protection, isn't it? It's a protection debt.
Yeah, someone is trying to save you and keep suffering for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could take that as not just necessarily a physical savior kind of thing. It might be a mental thing.
Yeah.
And that could be part of my, my good fuck up that I have once a month or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That could be my suffering, like part of it. Like he comes to me and he's like, made a mistake, bollocks or whatever. And I'd be like, well, the power of God can wait. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm happy to do that.
Cool.
It doesn't have to necessarily be a physical sort of saving thing. It can be also a mental one or.
Okay, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so like Father Landon like knows more about his taint and knows more about like has more like control and knowledge over it. And so yeah, like James is kind of like James dove in head first. Father Landon kind of like dipped his toe in first and like learned more about it. And now James is kind of like, oh shit.
Thing.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. You have and then the last one and the most important one. You have a demon patron who holds the contract for your soul. You owe them 3 debts.
Uh-huh.
All right, yeah. So let's flesh out your demon and who they are.
I think it would be kind of cool if I didn't know who they are. I just like what I was thinking is like I found a way to like contact whatever world they're living in, and I just kind of threw my soul in there, and then I got like powers in return. Someone has it and someone's controlling me, but I don't really know them or how really to contact them.
So they contact you and have you do stuff for them, but like you never actually met them. Okay.
I never met them. It's like they're contacting me is me just getting sudden bursts of like, maybe I should do this terrible thing. And that's sort of like them trying to tell me something. I don't know anything about them really.
Okay. Cool. Sure. Let's see. So like do you have like a name or any sort of like something that you put to this creature? You don't know who they are and like or like anything that's about them, but like have you like given something like a name or something, like called them something just to call?
I'm typically gonna address them as Dark Forces or the Dark One or whatever, because I don't know if it's one or multiple things. Just so clueless on this whole like magic thing.
Cool.
It's really weird to me.
James, 3 debts to Dark Forces. Awesome. And cool. So we've got your guys' debts. We've got we fleshed out your characters and you got some stuff. So something I'm gonna do, and I'm hacking Urban Shadows a little bit for this. So there's a start of session move that we're supposed to do every single time. It's great for a campaign with the same players every time. Since we're doing this with a lot of different players, we already have a lot of like strings and stuff going around. Basically, the start of session move is supposed to be like, if you don't know what's going to happen, this is how you create what's going to happen. But the way it does it is it creates 4 really big plot points that we could follow any of them. And rather than doing that and having a bunch of those go around, I'm going to do something else. So, Bailey, who do you trust?
Yes.
Who do you trust the least?
Out of anyone? Or
Out of the
NPCs?
three, and obviously you might not know all of them, but like as you, who does Bailey trust? Who would Bailey trust the least out of these characters?
Yeah, if I had to choose, I think Bailey distrusts James he trusts James the least. I've seen Father Landon. I've dealt with Father Landon. I feel like I have a bit like, because I have like, they owe me 2 debts. Father Landon owes me 2 debts because I'm trying to save them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit like, I feel like I've got a handle on Landon, and me and Jensen have worked together before. As naive as my handle on Landon might be, I have something.
Cool.
But I don't trust James. James seems like a character that I like. My own personal, like, lived in the city, grew up from nothing. Like, I hate that person. I hate that businessman. Fucking like, he's the character that I'm not about. So like,
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm
I
like,
probably don't trust them at all.
All right.
Really.
So,
just sitting up in my penthouse looking down at you people, drinking like a martini with my robot butler.
You're all meat.
So, James, pick a faction for Bailey that she doesn't already have checked. So, Bailey, which factions do you have checked?
I have mortality and power checked.
Okay, so pick Knight or Wild for Bailey.
What is this gonna do?
Basically, what this is going to be is if you interact at all, because you advance in this game by making faction moves and interacting with these factions, but usually it has to be a move. This one is the faction that gets picked for you is going to be if you interact with this faction at all during the session, you'll get to mark it. So it's like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say wild.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Bailey, mark down if you interact with Wild at all this session, you get to mark them. You don't have to make a move for Wild this session.
Got it.
Father Landon,
Oh, cool.
who do you trust the least?
Who do I trust the least? It's that handle, you know? No. You know, I'm sorry, James. It probably would be James as well.
That's fine.
Even though you're trying to save him.
That's the thing. It's a really weird sort of thing. It's not like it's like I wouldn't trust him with my life, whereas something like Bailey, I probably would. Jensen, I would.
We're just neutral. I think you have kind of like an enemies too close kind of vibe with James, whereas
Yeah,
you
that's
and I are
exactly
kind of just like chill.
Like,
James
it's
James
weird
feels
'cause
like it feels like for you it's kind of maybe a like, oh man, they're really losing control of this.
I got to
And
keep my
that's why you
eyes on
don't
them
trust
for my
them.
own sake.
it's to keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer kind of situation.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
a little bit
Cool.
So as much as I hate to pile on the hate, the lack of trust, James, it's you. I'm sorry, bro.
All right.
It's fine.
So what
I
factions do
wouldn't
you have
trust
marked right
James
now?
either.
What factions do I have marked? I have none marked. Why do I not have any marked?
And maybe you didn't make any faction moves during the session you played.
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So all of them are free for Father Landon. So James, just pick any of the factions for him.
Wild.
Okay, I can
Just-
touch myself.
Like, hey, me, how you doing? I'm doing good, me. Check.
Yep. hmm
Jensen, who do you trust the least?
Is it me?
Sorry, James.
All right, let's check.
Well,
how about
let
okay?
me let me. It's actually kind of a tie because like I don't have any reason to trust Father Landon, and I don't have any reason to trust James either. But
Okay, let's.
then it's
How
gonna
about-
come down to
Like,
personal
to be
bias.
honest, I think you would probably trust me least because
Yeah.
less because
Okay, well,
I'm
let's-
sort of like the selfish. Like,
Well, you're
I
an
wanna
embodiment
get-
of why I don't really have a job because some corporate asshole decided that we need to move to the digital age, so I'm
Yeah.
fucked for live printing journalism.
How about we
Yeah.
change it to we'll make it the opposite. If you had to go to one person for help out of the group, who would it be?
Oh, then it'd be Bailey.
Okay. Bailey, pick Jensen. Oh yeah,
I have-
Jensen's new, so he doesn't have any marked.
Yeah, I have no mark.
Yeah. So pick a faction for Jensen.
I don't know. This is cool. It's very apocalypse worldy. Like,
Mhm.
highlight the thing you want them to play with.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see. I'd like to see Jensen. I think the power faction, just to deal with some of the shit that he's sowed for himself.
Now, just to clarify, what this means is that if I interact with them, I'm marking experience and marking the faction. Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
because usually you have to make a faction move or use a move, and that means you get to mark the faction. The session intro move, you just mark it, and so I'm altering it a little bit. So interacting with someone from this faction, like in any shape or form.
In any case.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like if you
some
have
move.
you have a scene, you go talk to somebody, or you meet somebody. However you interact with this faction, you'll get to mark them. Like this
Okay.
this faction, you don't have to make a move for it for this
All
session.
right. Okay, just double checking.
And-
I did make I think it was put a face to a name when you know that little dog because I did the check to see what his eyes were.
Did you put
I
a face to a
believe.
name with that one, or did you just? Or,
Was it? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm
Was it for
sure I
somebody
rolled.
else?
Even if
something.
you did, that's a knight, so you're still not precluded from wild.
Yeah, I'm just saying I didn't mark it. If I did
Yeah.
put it
Oh,
on
okay,
purpose.
well,
I
I'm just
feel
saying
like
for the
you-
sake of continuity.
Right.
Oh,
I feel like
no,
you
it
might
was-
have,
no.
but I can't remember exactly.
Apparently, I didn't
Was it
roll
for one of the other people, like Conrad or somebody, or?
No, there was only a persuade roll and the devil inside roll. That was the only two rolls that I did last session.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay, never mind. I thought I did. I must have
Okay.
dreamt
Yeah.
it.
I think you just realized that it was Satemka. I think Tuck said something about
Yeah.
it.
Sorry. Go on.
No, you're totally fine. James.
Yep.
Let's go. Yeah. Well, since actually, this one's kind of interesting for you especially. So, who do you trust the least out of the three other characters?
Trust the least.
Yeah.
Father Landon, Bailey, or who else?
Jensen.
Jensen. Probably Jensen.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, yep. So, yeah. James is also
correct
new.
sounds
So,
is
any of the
James.
pick any of the factions for him.
I don't trust myself.
I don't trust myself. That was the nice choice.
Well, he's already part of Knight, so
He's wild because he's
No,
tainted.
you should. No, I'm part of the night. You should pick Wild.
no. I also want to see power.
Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna go with Power.
Okay.
Awesome.
All I have to go and do is visit James and be like, "Yo, what's up?" And he'd be
What's up,
like, "Huh."
Sup, da?
Yeah.
Sup?
I'm usually the one
Awesome.
to
Dude.
see it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Hey. What's going
So
on?
yeah, I already see where I kind of want to change it a little bit. Like already just going through it, 'cause, I see now asking the question who you trust the least. More than often is gonna end up everyone's gonna pick the same character.
Well, we're gonna fall on whoever we either know the least or whoever we hate
Right,
the most
exactly.
based
Yeah,
on bias.
I think I want to start like have a bunch of different questions and I'll roll. I'll make a table
Okay.
on roll
That sounds
20.
I
that
like
sounds
how
cool.
you approached it. I like how you approached it right there, just flipping it up to have a little break in it.
Yeah, I
The
think
characters that had very
I
close
think
relationship.
I'm gonna try to come up with questions in that same vein, and then I'll make a table on roll 20, and then it'll pick one out of that list. So it'll all be stuff like that, like who do you trust the least? Who would you go to if you needed help? Like who would you want to have like in a fight with you, or like stuff like that. And it'll be things like that, because I want to do this every session, because the session intro moves is like one of the main ways you mark factions, because when you do it, you automatically just mark the faction by doing the session move. And so but yeah, then that also gives us a bunch of like story plots that like might not go anywhere, and we've already got so much stuff.
That's the thing for the game that like solidifies that you always at least get one marked faction.
Yeah, because no
matter what.
And especially because yeah. So awesome. Yeah. So once again, interacting, you usually have to make a move to mark a faction with the faction that it was chosen for you. If you interact with that faction like at all, like meet a character, talk to a character, however it happens, you just get to mark them. You just have to interact with somebody, and you don't have to make like hit the streets or put a face to a name or anything like that. With the other ones, you do just with that faction. And we are over an hour, so I think we're going to take a quick break. It's going to be about 6 minutes, and then let you guys who are watching go to the bathroom, get some water, do whatever you need to do. I'm going to do the same and kind of think of where some of the starting scenes we want to see, and then we shall be back for some actual play. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Stick around for more City of Fog.
Yay.